we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and Game Source. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening to all of our great shows, whether you're on, of course, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. And if you can, please give us that 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Plus, if you can like, share, subscribe, follow, or do whatever it is that you can to support us right here at the Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every time out right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. Plus, also as well, Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football. And for most fantasy football leagues, it is the championship game or you're really knee deep in the playoffs. So get your one up on your competition by checking out Inside Sports Fantasy Football. We just recorded a great episode this week, so please check it out at Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Plus, our good friends at LakersBall.com. Go ahead and check out Ox1947, who was on the road with us during our live watch party. Go ahead and check that out today, right there for you at LakersBall.com under Ox1947. He is always there and always talking. As you know, only he can. Plus, also as well, our good friends at Lakerholics.com. Join our good friend, Mr. Jamie Sweet, and the number one Lakers blogger that's out there, Laker Tom. Well, the Lakers certainly sucked tonight on a back-to-back, but, you know, what we're going to do? Got lots of things to discuss. But if you can go ahead and support Lakerholics.com, that is truly appreciated. Plus, also as well, our good friends at the Hoop Heads Podcast Network, the John McCallion channel. Go ahead and support John McCallion, and best wishes to John McCallion because I know he's under extreme weather. He tried to go ahead and gut it out tonight for a little while on the live watch party. Really appreciate that. Hope you get well soon, really soon, John. So hopefully he'll get better really, really soon. Also as well, our good friends, again, the Hoop Heads Podcast Network, our new friends at Courtside Lakers. Go ahead and check out Courtside Lakers today on Instagram. We're posting stuff there now. Watch out, Instagram, because we're going ahead and checking out everything at Courtside Lakers on Instagram, plus also as well our own Instagram, Lakers Fast Break. And if you can support all of that, it is sincerely appreciated. So the first couple of posts already in the chat, Zangerstein, our awesome chat person out there, is saying she hates this coach, and she's never hated a coach before. Darvin Ham, absolutely, it's starting to get the heat, I think, and deservedly so, because we'll go into it in a second. But Daniel out there, he said the Lakers suck, and Daniel Barry, unfortunately, I can't say much different, but Daniel Barry, go Magic Card, says Lakers suck. They did tonight because with the game being a back-to-back, the Lakers head to South Beach to go ahead and face off against the Miami Heat. And MagicMan said it best, would they be suffering from the Miami flu, the South Beach flu, the clubs, the scene out there at South Beach? Were they looking forward to a night of partying, or did they have it already? Seemed like, for the most part, if your name wasn't LeBron James, they were kind of sluggish there, because every time LeBron James was in the game, they were in the game. Every time he sat down in the first half, the Lakers fell behind. They were still competitive in the first half, as they were only down by just about 9 points at the half. But then again, another terrible third quarter where the Lakers just fell behind by double digits and just even get back in the game as low as 7 points in the fourth quarter. But mistakes after mistakes after mistakes and terrible turnovers, even by a gassed out LeBron. He made some turnovers too late in the game. Poor execution, and the Lakers just could not give it over the hump. 24 turnovers to only 5 for the Miami Heat. And there you go. Pretty much in a nutshell there. Didn't matter how well the Lakers shot or didn't shoot, because the Lakers just turned the ball over time in and time out and couldn't execute in the half court, as they fall once again 112 to 98. They fall 112 to 98, and the Heat could never really kick up the pace or get the transition going. Really, that's part of their deal, especially when Patrick Beverly got the ball. Patrick Beverly I think he's our new fast break killer because every time he got the ball and had a chance, an opportunity to go to a fast break, he absolutely killed it for the Lakers and turned the ball over. So definitely don't want to see him handling the ball. Austin Reeves had a terrible game. Lonnie Walker the fourth had a terrible game. Both those guys combined, goose eggs, zeros from both of those guys. Juan Toscano Anderson also got a goose egg, but provided at least some energy and a plus minus of +8 was one of the few positives coming back on the court. Troy Brown Jr., again, Nick Molina in the chat, in our live watch party, said it best. He was helping host with me. You got to play this guy more. When he's hot like this, you got to go ahead and let him play more. And Nick was right. 4 out of 5 from 3, 5 of 6 overall, 14 points, but he only played 20 minutes. Again, not understanding what the coach is doing by not playing a hot player more. You have Dennis Schroeder scoring 15, 5 out of 10. Patrick Beverly, again, just an awful game for him. 6 points, 4 assists, 7 rebounds. Thomas Bryant, even though he got 11 points and 8 rebounds, really made some mistakes as well. LeBron James, 6 turnovers with 27 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. And then you had also as well Russell Westbrook chipping in with 15, 8 assists, 4 rebounds. But again, this was a team failure. Austin Reeves with 4 turnovers. Russell Westbrook with 3 turnovers. Dennis Schroeder with 4 turnovers. Thomas Bryant with 3 turnovers, along with LeBron 6. It just was a bad game overall. They look like they had been spending too much time at the club and on a back-to-back, and they lose 112-98. And here today to talk about the game and whether or not the Lakers can steal another one, or if at this point in time, maybe you should start thinking about packing it in. Because I know I've heard that over the course of the live watch party and starting to hear it from Lakers fans, starting to see it on the chat. Good man indeed. He is the Magic Man, the madman from Toronto, the guy who can't get out of Toronto traffic. It is Mr. Sean Grice. Thanks so much here, my friend, for being part of our live watch party as well. Big shout out to John McCallion, Joe Soro traveling on the freeway while on the live watch party, and Nick Molina as well. Your thoughts on today's game? Just truly, they look tired, they look fatigued, and I can understand it with LeBron approaching 38 here in 2 days. But for everybody else, it was just very disappointing to see the effort that they gave.
Absolutely, Gerald. And as somebody who's been to South Beach about a handful of times, I can say the South Beach flu is real.
It is real. It's
It
there.
is real. It's a real phenomenon, ladies and
Remember,
gentlemen.
they don't go to
And
Atlanta until Friday.
that's right. That's right. So me and the Podfather were having a very in-depth conversation about, are we going to have the flu before the game or after the game? And, unfortunately it's a 50-50 shot with most teams. And with us, it was absolutely before the game, unfortunately. Gerald was right. You know, as Sam Mitchell once said after game 0-0-0-0-0, that was Austin Reeves, Lonnie Walker tonight. That is
JPA only gave you a lot of effort, gave you a lot of hustle, but he didn't give you any points either.
No, he didn't. He didn't. Nobody other than LeBron decided to show up tonight. Shout out to Nick Molina again. He made a great point. He was like,
Yeah.
LeBron came out like a rocket on the 4th of July, and then he cooled down. He became ice cold, and nobody else was picking up the slack. The third quarters now, I understand what Zangerstein is saying. I mean, we're 35 games into the Darvin Ham coaching experience, and he hasn't figured out the third quarters yet. I mean, it's obvious it's a problem. He knows it's a problem. It's likely the elephant in the room, both literally and figuratively here, because he just can't figure a way out of it. And the Podfather was very astute on the watch party, saying that he's had enough time to contemplate just about trying to throw everything he can at the problem and see what sticks and just run with that for a while and then make adjustments afterwards. But Gerald, he just third quarters are like a Chinese finger trap to this man.
I feel like also speaking of that, I feel like it's like in Dune where he has to put his hand in the trap, to whether or not decide or whether he actually has the ability, if he actually has the magical ability to go ahead and become a leader and all that. And I just feel like he can't get his hand out of the box. It's just inevitable that something as bad is going to happen always when the Lakers play in the third quarter. I got to look on the bright side, my friend. At least they didn't give up 50 points in the third quarter.
Oh yeah, we could thank God for that.
False praise, I know, false praise indeed. But
Yeah.
Zanger,
Um.
I just want to mention Zangerstein. It's an old issue. You see it, and you give you credit first. You saw it faster than anyone as far as these small lineups just do not work. Yet he continually goes back to it. I kind of tried to defend Ham for weeks now, saying, okay, let's give him a chance. This is his first gig. Let's see. But he's been an assistant coach for years. He should know the runaround almost like a coach as far as what to do, when to do it, what to tweak, when to tweak it. It's not like this is his first go around as someone who's been coaching in the NBA. True, it's his first head coaching gig, but he's been assistant long enough to know what to do and when to do it. And it's just these four guard lineups, these small lineups are really not getting it done. Have never been getting it done this season. And as Z always says, it's just absolutely mind numbing that they still continue to go back to it.
Yeah, that's an enigma wrapped in a mystery, wrapped in a shroud of who knows it's with that one. The three of them just are not suited to play with one another, especially defensively. It's a mess with trying to have Pat Bev and especially Russell Westbrook at this point try and just run over screens or think you have enough lateral quickness to get over into a corner. But I mean, like you said, Gerald, there are other coaching staff on the other side of the fence here, and they're seeing our weaknesses and just exploiting the hell out of them, especially with those three on the court. Um,
You made a
Again,
good point. Blue Magic was there on the live stream, and he said you made a good point. That's right. The Lakers are 3-12 since 2008 when they play in Miami. Hmm. I wonder why that could be. First up, they always play Miami on a back-to-back. It's
always,
always the
always
Orlando,
the
Miami.
the
That's a
NBA,
detriment. Yeah.
yeah, it's to their detriment. You normally the South Beach flu, you can avert it if you
Mhm.
get Miami on the front end. If you get them on the back end, it's almost assuredly a loss. Um, and the Podfather is correct. It's if you look back at the schedule, 1 or 2 years, but for the most part, the Lakers always get Miami on a back to back. It's either from an
Now works.
Orlando game or a Charlotte game.
Yeah. It works both ways here. I will say that the Lakers this season has gotten the back end of a lot of teams back to back in LA after they faced against the Clippers, and they've not been able to capitalize, quite a bit on it. They should have a better record on those back to backs. The Lakers should, but still, when you're on the road in Miami, it's always on a back to back. Always. It just never seems to change. And then, like you said, if there's any type of distractions there on top of it, it just makes things a lot worse for the Lakers.
Yeah, absolutely. And now you're going into a barn on Friday that always comes out for the Lakers. The Lakers have a huge fan following in the Atlanta area. So we know it's going to be a mix of Laker and Hawks fans, but it's just a question of how many Laker fans are going to show up now because that's a huge game for the Hawks. They could try and springboard springboarded into something. And it's usually everybody usually has the Lakers circled on the calendar anyway, so it's not as if the Lakers are coming off this back to back and thinking, well, if we go 80% on Friday, we could beat the Hawks. Nah, they're,
Didn't you know how it was funny how miraculously, like in so many other occasions this season, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, oh, I feel better because LeBron got out of bed today and play and felt good enough to go ahead and play. So did Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo.
Oh, absolutely, Gerald. I mean, there's 100%. If LeBron had decided to take the night off, there's no way Jimmy Butler was going to suit up.
Yeah.
He would have sat out too. Um, yeah, everybody just loves getting up for us now, and unfortunately, and Zangers hit the nail on the head. It's not just that they're small. The three of them together, Pat Bev, Dennis Schroeder, and Russ, they're tiny.
Mhm.
They're just seeing blood in the water, and it's a shark fest.
Yeah.
That's what it is right now.
It is very disappointing to see. Once again, it's the Lakers fast break. The Lakers unfortunately catch what Dr. Sean Grice calls the South Beach flu and fall 112-98 on a back to back. They looked fatigued. They looked tired. I know LeBron did. He was already doubling over
Yeah.
by the fourth quarter. It was easy to see that these back to backs at his age are really starting to get him. No matter how many millions he puts into his conditioning and his body, he still can't do what he once did. It's clear to see, and anybody who doesn't see that is actually kidding themselves. And you got to feel for the guy. Still, so much is riding on him, and it's a shame to see because in the first half, you saw it when LeBron was playing. He was a plus two. He's a plus minus plus two in the first half. When he was in there, the Lakers were competitive. When he wasn't, the Lakers were not.
No, no. Even at 38, this man is still finding a way to be on the plus side. And as soon as he goes to the bench, the very second he goes to the bench, the team immediately goes into the red. It doesn't matter whether it's been with the Cavs, the Heat, the Cavs again, and now with the Lakers. It's the same old story. 25, 7 and 8. We'll be up to like 12 in the middle of the second quarter. I'll sit out for 4 or 5 minutes. We'll probably be up by 4 points at halftime. And the same old story in the second half. I agree with Blue Magic. Part of me was a little surprised that he did play in the back to back, but all I can say, Blue, is that my gut tells me that somehow that was LeBron's call. I'm sure Coach Ham gave him the opportunity. If he wanted to just rest, he could have, but LeBron's not going to do that. Not in Miami. He's going to play. If he plays there again next year, he'll play again if he can. If it's on a back to back anyway. But I think, like Gerald was saying, going forward, if look, we're 7 games under 500 right now. Gerald said it during the watch party. If this thing goes to 10 below, then you might as well just circle the drain and just flush it, because there's just an infinitesimal reason to trade those two first round picks if you're 10 games below. So Gerald hit the nail on the head. If Friday is bad, and I'm leaning towards 95% of me thinks it will be, then
So,
that's
do you
eight.
think they could take one more game on this trip?
Yes, I do.
You
I
think it's a
do.
Charlotte game? I believe.
Yeah, I think that's the only one they have a real shot in the arm for.
As payback.
Yeah. That's the only one I can think of. I mean, if they don't get that one, then woof, you're circling the drain now. It's time.
Two things that stuck out to me most as far as outside of the continual issues with the third quarter. And once again, it's the Lakers fast break. The Lakers do lose 112-98. It's the Magic Man, Sean Grice, the madman from Toronto, the guy who can't get out of Toronto traffic, and me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much for watching and listening. We got a great chat going on, the world's best Lakers chat that's out there. But the two things that stuck out to me the most, obviously the 25 turnovers. Jamie Sweet actually said it in the chat. Just absolutely terrible. It's 24. It was 24-5 on the turnovers,
Oh,
which the Miami Heat turned into, I think, 24, 26 points, something like that, off the turnovers. Just you can't when you're both are shooting around the same, you're both right around the same rebounds. Although there were two occasions where the Lakers just you got a defensive rebound and they didn't. Offensive rebounds turned into 3-point makes by the Miami Heat, but also as well the turnovers. They're just absolute killer. And the second thing is Troy Brown Jr. Troy Brown Jr. is I'm going to say it nicely. He's a streaky shooter, and that is at best. There's a reason why he was available on a minimum for a wing player, and that's because he's not a good shooter. And when he is shooting well, like he has the past couple games, you play him 30 plus minutes because you don't know when he's going to be able to shoot that well again or that consistently again, and he's on a hot streak. And to still only be playing 21 minutes in the game is absolutely mind-numbingly bad. I do not get it. I do not understand it. You have a player that is he's coming in, he's shooting the best he has all season for you the past couple games, and you don't play him more. You still stick with these tiny lineups. He's actually a wing that can provide some size and provide some defensive resistance against Miami, against Jimmy Butler, against Bam Adebayo, against Tyler Hero, and you don't choose to play him more. It just shows that there are some things in the rotation again with another Lakers coach that has to be fixed.
yes. This needs to be addressed immediately. Um, so you need to separate the idea that those three can play together and start realizing that really only two of them can play together, and you need to find the right combination of which two, because the three of them are just a disaster defensively. That is not fixable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so for me, if I was going forward, I would try and find a way to get Russ and Dennis most of those minutes and try and fit somebody else in there. And like Gerald was saying, put Troy Brown in there. Why not?
Ahead of Beverly, because
Yes,
Beverly, he
yes.
just kills you. He just
He's
absolutely kills you.
He's awful. He's every plus category that Pat Beverly had as a defender is gone. It's gone. He can't do the couple things he could do really well was he was a pest and he could get underneath someone's skin, but he could also stay with people. He can't stay with anybody anymore. It's
It's
almost like
apparent.
yeah, it's apparent. Sometimes he's seeing ghosts out there. You know, when he's defending some of these wings, and he needs to like they need to decide what they're going to do with him. I don't think uh trading him would solve a lot of issues or much of anything. So if you release him. So maybe Max Christie or somebody else like Troy Brown can supplement those minutes, because there's just no way in hell you could go forward now with Pat Beverly. He's
Well, you've seen it. You've seen how, okay, Troy. We know Troy Brown is going to go invisible at some point in time. That's the way his MO has been throughout his entire career. But when he is lighting it up like he is, you play the man until he cannot do it for you anymore. Plus, he's
yeah,
6'7". He
yeah,
is.
yeah. I
It's
don't understand the
yeah.
idea of not having, Russ and Dennis if you want them out there. And sure, Tro- LeBron plus I Troy Brown, Lonnie Walker, Austin Reeves. Pick between the three of those, two of the three of those. That's the best we could do right now, Gerald.
I don't think they'll
It's
buy Pat Bev out.
yeah,
Maybe after the trade deadline if they don't get any movement on him. But yeah, you just saw it
yeah.
today. I mean, he gets the ball, Pat Bev, twice,
Mm-hmm.
and he can just dribble straight up the court down the middle,
That's
and
all he
he
can
has
do.
wing players running on the wings. What does he do? He instead takes the ball on a half-hearted. He doesn't even go full blast. He takes the ball, goes to an angle on the opposite angle from where he's at, and throws the ball to the opposite side and throws it away for a turnover. He did that twice. He kills fast breaks. The guy is supposed to be a former point guard. He's still listed as a point guard. He is supposed to be and the first time he actually was when he had LeBron running one of the lanes with him and didn't get the ball to him when he was just running right by him. It's me. You've been in this league long enough to know who you are as a player and also coaching who they are as a player. You need to understand that if he's no longer the player he once was, you have to sit him down. Forget about the name on the back. It's about what is the skill level at this point in time.
Yeah, and he's a detriment across the board. You're right, Gerald. Dribbling, he's terrible. Passing, like you
I
said,
think Troy Brown Jr. qualifies kind of John as a
yeah. Yeah, no, answer Yummy Swoot, yeah, I don't think Pat Bev is going to get bought out. I agree with Gerald. But he's just a detriment out there for every conceivable reason. He can't stay in front of anybody anymore, and he lacks the lateral quickness to get over screens. He's not as pesky or pesty as he was in the past, and so now he can't rely on other players baiting him into offensive fouls. That skill is completely eroded. He can't shoot worth a damn. Um, and like Gerald was saying, it's just general awareness of what to do and where your teammates are just shoddy. Like it's almost as if he's not preparing. And I hate to say that about another person's field, but it just seems like some of these guys just aren't prepared aren't prepared to go from the jump, or they're not prepared to go in the third. And like we were saying during the watch party, that's a cumulative effort that starts with the coaching staff and the players in the locker room, and it permeates outward.
it,
And
yeah. It's just very disappointing to see. I mean, again, you have players like Joe has been saying. It's the fundamentals. The fundamentals. This team only excels when they're in transition, when they keep the pace
mhm,
high, when they get the defense that's not set, that's not ready, when they
yep,
can attack the defense when they're not set and not ready. Because you see in the half court, they absolutely stink. You see from the outside three pointers, they're really less than mediocre at best. You can see
yeah.
the lack of depth on this team, and the only way this team can win is if they get enough stops without AD, they get enough stops to get them by, and they transition, and they weren't allowed to do that today, and it showed. All those turnovers really come back to bite you in the butt.
Oh, 100%. And if I'm not mistaken, Jamie said the turnover difference was 5 for the Heat, 24 for the Lakers. So that's a minus 19 turnover differential on the road. I don't care how well you're shooting from deep. You're not going to win a game if you're turning the ball over 19 times, and not only are you losing 19 possessions, but you're letting your opponent uh basically run up the score on you. I mean, this was a slow decaying game. We were down by 1, then we were down by 9, then we were down by 12, then 15, and then 17, and then 20. And like Gerald said, they made a gutsy effort to come back, but you just when it goes to E, when it starts doing that, it
Yeah.
can't go anymore.
Yeah, it can't go anymore. And you saw the mistakes down the stretch. LeBron, who had done so much to get on a back to back to keep them in the game, you saw him making mistakes. That turnover that Nick mentioned on the live stream, that was a killer right there. That could have gotten the Lakers back into the game if they'd have scored as far as within 5 points or less. And unfortunately, with about I think it was 4 minutes left or 2 minutes
Mm-hmm.
left, and they just it was a mistake that happened. And I asked him point blank because I was typing up. I said on that play where he made the turnover, where he could have made an easy pass to I think it was Beverly, and I made the question. I said, was it based off of fatigue, a stupid play? He said it was more of a mix of both. But if you had to say one, it was more a fatigue issue. And you know what? That gets fatigue is the victor of us all. When we're tired, we have a tendency to make mistakes. And you saw LeBron doubling over late in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter, and you could see it take an effect on him. And it's just the point where if he wasn't playing so many minutes, just think if he was playing five, just think like we talked about in the beginning of the season when I said already he was playing too many minutes when they had AD in the lineup. You cannot play him 36 minutes. It's going to add up, and it's starting to add up now, especially with AD out. It's at the wrong time to do this, to keep on playing him so many minutes, because you've seen it all add up from here.
Oh, 100% Gerald. And by the way, the great quote there by Coach Vince Lombardi: "Fatigue makes cowards of us all." It's
Mm-hmm.
100% true. It doesn't matter what we're doing, our job, driving, walking the dog. I mean, if you're tired, sometimes you miss things, you make mistakes, But for like Gerald was saying, this back to back is like a long car ride. Well, usually on a long car ride, you need to take breaks.
Yep.
And like Gerald was saying, LeBron had to go for us to even stay in the game. And he couldn't take any breaks, and he just ran out of gas.
Yeah.
It,
You
it,
just ran out
it-
of gas, absolutely. And then when there's no other help that you can consistently rely upon that's not named Anthony Davis, who earlier in the chat, one of our great people in the chat said he gets a hangnail and he's out for the season. Uh, I just think right now it's a point where there's no consistent help for LeBron with AD not in the game. I know everybody was in love with Austin Reeves, but you're seeing it on a game like today where he pulls a donut. He is just not consistent. You saw him trying to take the ball in traffic. He does not have the handle. He got it stolen from him yet again. It's happened like 3 games in a row where he's tried to take the ball up the middle and he's gotten it stolen, picked clean. He's just not adept at that yet. That's part of his game he still needs to work on. I still think the book is out on a good team if he's actually can be a quality rotational player. I don't know. I honestly don't know. And I mean that honestly. I don't know for
like
sure. I can't say yes or no. I don't know. I just
I
don't know.
I I do I do think his ceiling now, his
His
ceiling,
ceiling could be that. Yeah.
yeah. I think you could be looking at, a 6'4", 6'5" Kevin Herter. Maybe not, maybe he doesn't have the handle that Kevin does. But if he can shoot from deep from 38%, I think you've got a like you said, Gerald, a very good rotational player on a pretty good to very good NBA team. But like you said, he's so inconsistent right now that it kind of clouds his potential. It really does. You're not sure which way he's going to go right now. He's going to go in one direction or the other. He's like a stock. He's going like this, or he's going to go like this. And we're just not sure which way he's going to go. We had that issue with THT, and we saw what happens when you put that kind of decision in the hands of Rob Pelinka. Um,
Well, again, Jim Howe reminded me of my own words about, how Christie has a
Yeah.
2 year deal and Reeves has a short deal and THT had a short deal. And all of these players could have been put on cheap second round or undrafted contracts. Sign them to as soon as you see that they have talent. Sign them up to four
Yeah.
year,
Kennedy
$6 million.
Chandler.
Yeah,
Kennedy Chandler, great
yeah,
player out of from the Tennessee Volunteers, signed a 4-year deal with Memphis, a
yeah.
standard NBA contract. Gerald called it. He's like,
For 4 years, $6 million, right around there, with a fifth year option, or they become a restricted free agent the year they come out, where you still have the ability to retain them.
yes,
It's
yes,
absolutely idiotic that they don't do what they can once they see any inkling of talent with these
right.
guys.
And if I'm not mistaken, he's never actually been able to rationalize why he does this. Or no, if if I'm mistaken, and maybe nobody's asked him specifically, but I don't think that would be the case. Um, yeah, it's confounding, mind-boggling. Like Jim was saying, standard NBA deals are 3 years. So some are 4, and like Gerald was saying, some come with that 5th year. That's You're not gonna get that kind of control if they're a really good player ever again. Once a player turns, once the worm is turned, now you know you're going to pay. You're going to have to pay a handsome fee for this type of production. But when they're on rookie deals, and instead of signing a guy to a 3, 4, 5 year deal, you're signing them to 2 year deals, 1+1, um, undrafted 2A, then it's converted, but it's only one. It's Yes, Gerald, it's confounding. It's one of Palinka's Waterloo's.
It is. It's just. I again, I if you're looking at this, and I understand this goes back to the whole Genie. What does she know? What does she not know about the organization? What does she not know about what basketball? She's been around it for decades. I think she should be aware of what's going on as far as these dealings that he makes, the choices, the talent evaluations, the contracts that they sign, we've managed to go ahead and take a world championship team and make them in a matter of less than right around 2 calendar years, a little over 2 calendar years later, we've turned them from a world championship team to a team that's not even close to making the playoffs,
Yeah,
right? As of right now.
yeah, it's been complete. This is a championship caliber roster that was deconstructed slowly and seemingly unnecessarily so. Um, Now, like Gerald was saying, we went from being a contender to being one of those veteran teams that is over the hill. And while it does look like we got younger in the off season, as Laker Thomas pointed out and other fans, it you have to look at the talent discrepancy there against the youth. We didn't bring in a lot of youthful talent. We brought in a lot of talent that was young. There's a big difference. You
Well, it's also a lot of marginal talent that had not succeeded in other places, which is fine because every now and then you're going to find a diamond in the rough. Yuta Watanabe, as Zangerstein has pointed out, has been a tremendous lift for the Brooklyn Nets, and he was someone who at times could make it in the league, at times was with Toronto on the back end of their roster. So you
Mhm.
see what he's done so well for Brooklyn, and there are other finds like that in the league every year, seemingly, that you can find that excel on one team after they fail another. Wenyan Gabriel, we talked about him. He's someone that has done about as good as you can expect. Someone who
Mhm.
I've completely just said probably doesn't belong in the league unless he had his heart. And the kid plays with more heart than virtually anyone out there, and plays with more effort than anyone out there. but you understand the fact he has very little skill for an NBA basketball player, and for his size and his lack of strength, it's really a tough issue for him to stay out there for long periods of time because of the fact that he's just not that very much skilled. You see now that the Lakers do not put him out beyond the 3-point line because he just can't shoot the ball. You understand that his range is 1 foot and that's it for those layups, the give and goes, the screen and rolls. That's what he's good at. And I'm glad that he's found a niche. I'm very happy for the kid that he might actually be able to stick in the league a couple of years because of how he's played this season. But you can only expect so much from an individual like that. But there's very few finds that actually can consistently help the Lakers reach another level that has been found by Pelinka. Even the guys that he signs at the mid level. You see, Lonnie Walker's been struggling as of late after that pretty good start he had. He's been struggling. It just, you cannot find consistent help with what the Lakers are actually every single year always stuck against because they've got so much tied up into the cap with those 3 big salaries. And I think you need to start looking. I know it was said earlier in the chat, you might want to start looking to trade Davis. You might want to start looking at some of those options. As we lose Sean Grice right here, I think he actually is having some internet gremlins. Hopefully he'll get him back on. But once again, there he is coming back on. I must have scared your internet, my friend, because it backed out. But your thoughts on the job the front office is doing before we head on out, my friend? Actually, maybe not, because he's actually once again out. His having that Toronto internet issues. Maybe it's the weather over there. But once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Truly appreciate it. Once again, due to a very fatigued and tiring performance by the Lakers, 24 turnovers led to a 112-98 victory for the Toronto Raptors. We'll be back once again for the Lakers Fast Break on their schedule, with their schedule coming up on Friday in Atlanta. Remember our live watch party. I'm hoping to see if we're going to have some good people heading up the watch party on Friday, because I probably will not be there for it because I'll be actually finally headed to the Pacific Northwest. That'll be at 4:30 p.m. start time, Pacific time on Friday. I've asked Nick to go ahead and head out up, so I'm hoping he'll do, if he's there, I know he's going to do a great job. Hoping that Sean and Joe and everybody else in the gang can go ahead and help him out on the live watch party for the Lakers Fast Break against Atlanta at 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. And then after the game, we will have a post game. I know that, whether it's me or Joe Soro heading it up, it will be a Lakers Fast Break coming right back at you here. But before we head on out, I want to hear your thoughts. I'm going to read some of the thoughts that you guys been saying back and forth in the chat, because again, it is the world's best Lakers chat room. I think Sean Grice's internet or his cell phone may be out for the count. You never know. But John McCallion, so far, man, I really am glad that you're in the chat. Truly hope you're feeling better. If you get a chance, everyone, please go ahead and help John out by giving him a subscribe on his John McCallion channel on YouTube. But before we head on out, want to go ahead and mention that the conversation is going back and forth in our chat. Blue Magic said, let's be honest, Wenyen is really a 13th or 14th player on the roster. That's what I'm saying, Blue. I mean, I give the kid all the credit in the world for keeping at it. He's been on 6 different teams. So he's used to getting that call for being cut, for being waived, for being released. He's used to getting that call to going back down to the G League and trying to work hard to get his chance again to stay in the league. I'm hoping he can get a chance to stick, whether it's with the Lakers or someone else. But yes, if we're playing him as a 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th player in the rotation, that does not speak well about our depth on our roster. He is a 13th or 14th player best on an NBA team, on a good NBA team. And Z, again, with Austin Reeves, we'll have to see. He has to shore up some things in his game, because you can see it easily derailing like it did tonight with his 0 performance tonight that you got from him, that there are issues in his game he needs to address. If he does, then he can become a quality rotational player in the league on a good team. He just doesn't have to go ahead and do everything himself. You're right, as an individual when he becomes a playmaker, a primary playmaker, it's a tough issue for him. As a secondary playmaker, he works off a lot better off of LeBron or AD or even sometimes Russell Westbrook. But we'll see what happens. Again, the Lakers in the half court, especially with LeBron out of the game, looked absolutely terrible, especially on this back-to-back. Too many turnovers, and it really cost the Lakers 112-98. Once again, it's Gerald Glassford right here at the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate everyone out there watching and listening. Guys have been sensational in the chat. John McCallion says, just don't fly Southwest. No, I am flying Alaska. So I'm happy for the fact that I will not be flying Southwest there, although I may be flying Southwest when I come back. So we'll see how that goes. But once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. We'll see what happens, but we will definitely have a live watch party on Friday and a post game afterwards. Not sure if I could be there, but I will make sure that at least Joe Soro will be here. I know a lot of people were asking if Joe Soro was going to be here tonight. He is having some time with the family. I know he was in our chat earlier, so he's actually in our chat now. So truly appreciate him stopping by. Lakers have the bigger meltdown. At least Southwest will give you a voucher for your stress. Lakers fans aren't as lucky. Yeah, I got, voucher aside, still was very inconvenient and very terrible to everyone affected adversely by Southwest's ineptness and years-long debacle in the making as their outdated and antiquated systems proved. Yeah, it was just a terrible situation for all those thousands of people that have been adversely affected, and my heart goes out to them. I'm consider myself lucky compared to others that were, are not in their home. They're out somewhere, maybe stuck in an airport. Maybe they were on an adjacent flight or catching another flight from one stop to another on another stop, and they got stuck. They could be out for days still trying to find a way to get home. So my heart goes out to everyone that's adversely affected by it. But for the Lakers, yeah, Jim House says you're in good shape. My daughter's a flight attendant with Alaska. She just made it to Seattle, no problem. I'm looking forward to that same kind of flight too, Jim. It's so funny though that if you didn't catch it soon or catch it quick, those air rates, the airline rates went up tenfold. Yes, they were asking for $2,000 to $3,000 because of the situation with Southwest, those other airlines. So yeah, if you didn't catch it quick, you're really going to get burned by it. So my people just taking advantage and price gouging. But and again, that's capitalism for you. But Blue Magic says, I wonder if Southwest will recover from this, such a bad PR move. I have a feeling someday they will. I mean, Chipotle. Look at Chipotle. I think I'm going to put it out. Chipotle said that they took them a while. It took them a while to overcome those issues where people were getting sick, and now they're reporting really strong earnings, and they're growing for the first time in a long time after the late 2010s when they're having real issues. So I think with the right management in place, which they do not have now in Southwest, just like the Lakers, they can once again find themselves in a better position. But just like the Lakers, we have to find a better management for Southwest, just like we do for the Lakers, in order to go ahead and have the organization being run a lot better. But once again, we'll go ahead and close out with some thoughts on the Lakers. The Lakers at this point in time on these back-to-backs, you just cannot expect the same from LeBron time in and time out, because closing in on 38 years old. In fact, he'll be 38, I believe, on Friday, if I'm not mistaken, for the game against Atlanta. You just cannot expect him to go ahead and be that effective back-to-back. Getting as many points as he did was just a blessing in disguise. And you saw that the Lakers were a plus out there on the court with him, and without him, it was just not even close. John McCallion says, want to get away. Oh, how the tables have turned. Yeah, they have turned indeed, let me tell you. But I'm just glad you're feeling good enough to chat, my friend. Really rooting for you to get back well and to get back well soon. I know this flu pandemic and all the stuff that's been out there, COVID and all that, has been really a killer for a lot of people. So my heart goes out to everyone as well. Jim House says, John McCallion, bingo on the big three. There you go, the big three indeed. But once again, it is the Lakers falling short, 112 to 98. 112 to 98 indeed. Another loss. John Ireland on 710 calls LA a star effing town, and that's why Jeannie and Rob target the big names, not the middle class role players. How's that working out for you? Obviously, you can see, Jim, it's a feast or famine. I mean, and it's, very little feast right now. You got the world title in 2020, but it's going to be a lot of famine. I mean, we talked about it on last night's show when it comes to Jeannie Buss and the organization that she's running. I mean, yeah, you could say some of the early years were the aftermath of the poor management that was run before by her brother and Mitch Kupchak and having to deal with that. But in 10 seasons now, since she's taken over as governor, 2 playoff appearances, only 2. Yes, one was a championship, and that's awesome, but only 2 out of 10. You got to start putting some of the blame on her when it comes about this continual issues of not making the playoffs, especially when you have one of the greatest players to ever play the game. Whether you call him LaFraud or whether you call him, whatever, he is still one of the greatest players, wherever you rank him, one of the greatest players of all time in the NBA. And Anthony Davis, when he's healthy, is someone out there who can play, as we saw earlier this year, like an MVP. So with that being said, you were not able to take advantage of it more than what you did. And a first round exit and a championship, does that equal success for the Lakers in the past 10 seasons? I don't know. I mean, that's not entirely up to me. That's something that I would question. I have to look at it analytically and say, no, when you only make the playoffs twice in 10 years, you could throw the championship and say, yeah, it was a success, because in 10 years, most teams haven't gotten a championship. So you can look at the barometer either which way, but it's still something that the Lakers need to address in the front office. And Jim, you said it best earlier as far as the Lakers being valued. They're probably closer to $8 billion. If they went on the block right now, if they went on the auction block right now, you would probably get a bid for $8 billion for the Lakers, or at least high sevens, I have a feeling. So if the Phoenix Suns for their entire organization can get 4, I think the Lakers could probably get sevens, high sevens or eights. But Blue Magic says the $1 million question: when is LeBron going to go passive aggressive like he always does and start pushing for a trade in the media? I wonder if it will happen at all. He's starting to mention it already in his comments that the team just can't win consistently without AD, and he started to already start his passive aggressiveness a little bit testy. I'm sure if there's a quote tonight, and I'll look it up here in a minute, I really think that you're going to start hearing that passive aggressive from LeBron. But it's a shame. It's a shame because according to Mike Trell, as the numbers say, 24-5 in turnovers led to a 31-2 advantage off the turnovers. That is absolutely disgusting. 31-2 as far as the actual points off of turnover differential for the Los Angeles Lakers and the Miami Heat. Just absolutely disgusting the way that Miami was able to go ahead and take advantage of it. That's the game right there in a nutshell. That whole game. That's it right there. The Lakers now fall to 14-21. They're 3 games out of a play-in spot behind the Golden State Warriors. They're actually 2 games behind Minnesota, who's out of the play-in mix, and Oklahoma City, they're behind by a game and a half. So they got to not only hop over 1 team, not only 2 teams, but 3 teams they got to hop over, one of which is the current world champions, to get into the play-on. So to get to the play-in is just very, very going to be a lot harder to get. Fried Chicken says, we'll see Rob and Jeannie March 7th at Powell Jersey's retirement. I will see Jeannie there. I don't know about Rob. Rob is just, that's the first time we're going to see Rob, because Rob's been in hiding for quite a few weeks now. That's a shame. Yeah, yes, they had 24 turnovers tonight, but it led to 31 Miami points, 31-2 off of turnovers. That is absolutely disgusting, and that was the game right there. Once again, the Lakers do lose 112-98. We want to thank so much for everybody for catching up with us right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Usually I got a lot of great panelists, co-hosts alongside of me, but Sean Grice, looks like his internet went out in Toronto, or he got stuck in Toronto traffic. Joe is enjoying a fine dinner with the family, so I'm hoping he's doing well while he's still texting part of the chat right there. Same with Jamie Sweet, enjoying time with the fam right there in this holiday season. Blue Magic says, meanwhile, Rob continues to hide from the media. Absolutely. if you're doing this bad, you should be out in the forefront taking the hits, but he's not. Instead, that this front office has been virtually silent. Zangerstein says Rob is there when it's going well, and when he's hiding when it's difficult. Yeah, it's right there. It's right there for you. It's apparent. You know, John McKinley says he's enjoying a fine bottle of Gatorade. My friend, just keep hydrated. Try to get better. Hope you're feeling better very soon. Wishing all the best for you. And again, check out the John McCallion channel on YouTube. I know he's going to have a lot of good stuff when he gets back on. Zangerstein says, I think LeBron wants to live in LA. His business is in media. Honestly, if the expansion happens, watch him owning a team and probably spend more time than Genie. Though, everybody forgets about this. House Party was moved from a summer release. It was actually taken off the film schedule and has now been put on in January, which is usually a bad month for movies. That's where you send movies to die, is in January. So keep note of that if House Party does not succeed. With Avatar, the only real movie that's making money right now at the box office. So I'm not saying it's going to tank, but January, according to my time working with the Pop Culture Cosmos and doing that show for so many years, that January is usually a bad month for movies. Remember Morbius, everyone, this past January? Need I say more? So if that's the case, LeBron is going to have to probably. I understand that he wants to live in LA. I understand he wants to be in Hollywood and entertainment, but hopefully he can attach himself to better projects that are actually going to be pushed and promoted a lot better than what he has currently. So otherwise, it's not going to be a fruitful situation for him there as well. Not only be on a losing situation with the Lakers, but a losing situation with his movie overall. Ox 1947 says remaking House Party is blasphemy. Well, Joe, this is a day and age of entertainment. You, as someone who wants to get into that industry, should know that there is nothing off limits in entertainment as far as redoing it, remaking it, or re-envisioning it. That's Sanger Science says more movies are happening in Georgia, as far as I know. Yeah, because Georgia, because their tax laws. The Walking Dead, they shot their 10 seasons there, their 10 plus seasons there. And because the fact is because they were given so many tax breaks and tax credits. A lot the Marvel Studios, they have studios in Georgia, the Redwood Studios, I think it's called, simply because of the fact that they save so much money by filming there in Georgia because of all the tax breaks. So I hear you on that, absolutely. So if you can't, it's Georgia is a great place to make movies because of the fact it's such a monetary great value there. That's because Mobius was bad. It is going to be on a lot of worst of lists here for 2022. I agree with you that, John. But I think it's time to go ahead and head on out. It's about 57 minutes in. I want to thank the chat so much. John McCallion, Joe Sorrow, aka Ox1947, Zangerstein, all of you are great. Blue Magic was incredible again. Thank you so much, Blue, for stopping by the chat as far as in the live watch party. If you want to become a moderator on the live watch party, hit me up, my friend. We'll go ahead and make you moderator. You can join us in the chat live right there on stage. So let us know, Blue. Always be great to have you there. Nick's there, and we he wanted to become a moderator there, and he does a great job with us. Fried Chicken, always great to have you here as well. Blue Magic again, just a great job indeed. I know there's a lot of great people that were in the chat tonight because it's the best Lakers chat room that's out there. Jim Howe, you were incredible. Glad to have you part of our show. Truly appreciate it. Also, as well, just some great people again in the chat as always. Seeing some new faces, it's always great to be there. It's always great to have you here. It's always great to be able to talk and interact with you. Ozzy Beer, new individual here to the chat. Truly appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed already to our Lakers Fast Break on YouTube or Facebook, please go ahead and let us know. Joshua Dietz, our super fan on Facebook, always great to have you here. And I know you were at the watch party, so thank you so much as always for being a great part of that. Paul, again, as a Utah fan, just great to have you here. You bring so much positivity to the actual chat. Truly appreciate it. His thoughts are that he thinks the front office is trying to make deals. Problem is every team is politely declining. Don't see a demand for Pat Bev, Nunn, Russ, or protected picks in 5 or 7 years. Now, right now, it's not exactly desirable. It all depends. even with the cap going up and the cap's going up, the TV deals in place, will the money that you could potentially write off the books with Pat Bev and Nunn and Russ, or even Lonnie Walker the fourth, that you can take off the books this summer, is that enough to get a good pick? Is that a good enough to get a good draft choice? Is that a good enough to get a good player in return for the Los Angeles Lakers? And right now, the answer may be no, because there's so much money that's coming into the league for these teams that they may not need to go ahead and have this kind of money coming off the books. So that's an important point. Is that going to be something that the Lakers have to think about? Because back 4 seasons ago, where it was more attractive to have $40 million coming off your books, we'll see what happens. Some of these teams, there might be still some teams at the trade deadline that are looking to get off contracts, that are looking to get off salaries, and might find it attractive for Russell Westbrook and Patrick Beverley and Kendrick Nunn to have all that money coming off the books. But we'll see. I just think with the way these teams are structured now and what money's coming in the near future with the TV contract and the new CBA and all that, that it might not be as attractive as it once was to get that money out the books this season. So we'll see. We'll see indeed. Hawks 1947 says no, no, and no. But Zangerstein says another possibility is that no one wants to work with the Lakers. Their connection is too small. That could lead to organizational arrogance about we're the Lakers and we can just, wave a magic wand and see things happen. And you're right, that could be a possibility that no one does want to work the Lakers. They have a bad reputation with other clubs that are out there. San Antonio, Pop hates the Lakers with a passion. So we talked about Kevin Pritchard on the show before as far as not having a great relationship with the Lakers either. So there you go. I mean, those could be issues that could be continuing for the Lakers. What is Rob Pelinka's reputation with other teams? Is it that bad? Do they think they can go ahead after the Anthony Davis trade where he actually kind of bungled it, having to give up extra picks at the end there, especially after he made a mistake and had to give up an extra second round pick on top of it? Is that something that people consider when they're dealing with Rob Pelinka? We'll see. We'll see. I know Mitch had a magic wand, and we hate Pop too, says Joe Soros. So Joe's always out there. We truly appreciate Joe. I know you're busy, but thank you so much for watching and listening as well. Truly appreciate being part of the great chat. But it is the Lakers fast break. The Lakers do lose 112-98. We will be here for the live watch party at playback.tv/Lakers fast break. We will have one for you right there for you at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Looking forward to seeing a great watch party that hopefully you will be a part of. Plus also as well, after the game, there will be a post game. It's going to be me or Joe Soro heading it up, but we will have one indeed. Last words come from Blue Magic. Rob rubs people the wrong way. He gives me the bejeebies. I wouldn't do business with him. You know what? Seeing Rob and the way he conducts himself, I know Kenneth Sweet says this is blasphemy, or Kenneth Stone says this is blasphemy. Yeah, Rob Pelinka does not appear to have a great reputation among the other general managers out there in the league, and that's also going to hurt the team as well. Blue Magic says he seems like a backstabber. Well, just talk to Magic Johnson on that one. He'll tell you for sure. Zangerstein says them doing others dirty is a bit like Jerry West. That did not sit well with the NBA. What they did with Jerry West was appalling, and sometimes you get your just desserts. Sometimes you get what's coming to you, and if it is something that's going to happen to the Lakers, as far as it coming back on them with the PPP loan and the fact that I didn't hear any other NBA teams having this issue with the PPP loan thing and the Jerry West thing. I don't hear of any other teams having those type of issues, taking away the seats from Jerry West. Really think what they've done over the years on that to tarnish their reputation may come back to bite them in the end. John McCallion says, I think he gets too much credit for being Kobe's agent. Watch out, Kenneth Stone says that's blasphemy. every time he would have given them the max. So we'll see. If that's the case, he does get too much credit. I mean, he got very lucky with a great team that peaked at the right time after a few months rest. True, was in the bubble, but everybody had that opportunity to rest and play well, and the Lakers ultimately did it in the bubble. But since then, it's gone downhill for the Lakers, and a lot of that is due to the bad decisions that were made by the front office and the governorship to the way that this team is being run. So we'll see what happens as the Lakers. Can they finish 3-2 on the road trip? Can they get on the positive side with wins in Atlanta and I believe Charlotte afterwards? So we'll see. I mean, once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. We will find out what's going to happen with the Lakers on this road trip as they head into Atlanta on Friday. Again, 4:30 start. Then on Monday, it'll be at Charlotte. That's a 4 p.m. start. Both times are Pacific time. And after the game, we'll be here, hopefully, in a lot better mood, hopefully, shouting out some wins. Ox94 says, no and no. Zangerstein says that team was a combo of signed players and a lot of luck. So, yep, a lot of good luck indeed. So you do need that to win a championship. That's for sure. That's for sure indeed. But once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate everyone being part of it. The world's best Lakers chat room is right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Thanks so much to Sean Grice, the Magic Man, the Madman from Toronto, for being part of today's show. Unfortunately, the internet gremlins, or he just couldn't get out of Toronto traffic. He had to go ahead and check on out, but glad to have him here for our watch party and also our post game. Thanks again to Nick Molina, John McCallion, Joe Soro driving home while he was on the live watch party, Blue Magic, Joshua Dietz, all great parts of the show, Zangerstein in the chat, Paul and Blue Magic, truly great parts of our show. Everybody out there, just cannot thank you enough for being part of what we do. Hopefully, Team Replay, hashtag Team Replay for petting my cat. Also as well, Luca and everybody else that watches us. Young MB, haven't heard from you in a while. Hope all is well with you, my friend. Want to wish each and every one of you a happy new year. If I do not see you, Joe says, thank you, Harold Plexford. My name is Gerald Glassford. Thank you so much. But once again, it's Gerald Glassford talking right back at you here. And if I don't see you on Friday and Joe's hosting the show, I want to wish each and every one of you a happy and safe new year. But I will try to interject myself in, come what come may. But we'll see what happens on Friday. But we will have a live watch party and a show for you post-game right here at the Lakers Fast Break podcast. Joe Soro always got it ended, whether he's here or in the chat. Have a great one, my friends. Appreciate it and be safe.